Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another game in the 2v1 challenge series. This time again between Fredi, Vasall, and Fredi. So I think they played a set of 3 games to see who is coming out on top. And look at this, what a bad start already for Fredi, getting a couple of hits in on his villager. Now he needs to do some quick walling, which, to his credit, very nicely done. However, it also costs a little bit of wood, so even though, yeah, he can just delete then later on the foundations, it costs some micro time and also some wood, and also this villager not being able to do much, and Fredi villager still on the prowl, still looking for Fredi's villager, and this is just gonna be very annoying for Fredi because he has to constantly pay attention to what he's doing. And now if Fredi pays attention, Fredi won't be able to finish this house with his villager, and he really needs to do that in order to get enough population space. And oh, what is this? Fredi getting walled in almost by Fredi, so that's already a very interesting start. I'm sure there are other things going on this map, however, this is certainly the most impactful thing to be happening over here. And already this villager, although it is useful at this moment, later on this could be a detriment to Fredi because he effectively starts then with 1 villager less. So nicely done by Fredi. He should definitely finish this wall in. And yeah, so already good start for the team of Fredi and Vasall. And now finally we can look at the positions of the players. So Vasall over here in the gray as always. So he really likes this color. Maybe he's colorblind and thinks it's green or something. And he is over here. He has access to gold, wood of course, has some ibex here and water buffaloes. So yeah, it's decent map for him. Fredi over here, bringing in more water buffaloes, nicely done for him. Also direct access to stone and gold. And over here in the eastern side of the map, close to Fredi, we have finally Fredi. And Fredi is the Italians, so that will is a good civilization probably on Nomad because of their water bonus. So they could actually be pretty decent for him. And also I think the Genoese crossbowman is a good unique unit in this kind of setting, because you know Fredi is gonna go for knights. Even though he's the Vikings, he's probably going to go for knights. And so the Genoese crossbowman will just wreck Italian or Viking knights. But for that, of course, you need a castle, and there's a lot of prerequisites. However, it's a decent civilization, I think, for Fredi again. Now, Vikings, of course, still probably the top. So they have always been one of the top civilizations, and they still are one of the top civilizations for any game mode, because they get wheelbarrow and handcart for free, and that just makes your economy so much stronger once you age up to the next age. And then finally Vasall having the Franks, and that's also a great civilization due to him getting the farm upgrades for free. Maybe not as impactful on this hybrid map because Nomad is a hybrid map, so you also go for fishing eco. So farm upgrades maybe not as impactful as on other maps, but still very good. Also get a small berry bonus, and finally their knights are very good. So in this game, maybe Vasall should go for a kind of a fast castle approach into knights, and Fredi should be the one to lame and delay Fredi. Looking at the villagers, Fredi, while he did a good bit of early laming there with the wall in at the dock, he fell behind a little bit in terms of overall villagers, so I think he might have been a little bit too occupied there. Vasall, on the other hand, doing a good job keeping up with Fredi and even surpassing him in early villager numbers. However, again, I don't really like this wall off from Vasall. I mean, it's good practice maybe for other games, so if we're gonna do some more team games in the near future, then I think it's a good move. However, here it's a 2v1 situation, so you really have to go aggressive. So you really need to locate your opponent and then try to limit his map control, limit his options, limit what he can do. Looking at the Fog of War, Food Please, I'm not sure, he might be aware of the position of Frediniewicz, but probably not just yet, but I think soon he will notice where his opponent is, especially if those villagers are walking forward towards Frediniewicz. But for now, he is going for the Ibex. He's probably going to build a mill over here, and this villager will go for the scouting duty, and he needs to be careful. That's the problem with villager scouting in Nomad games. It's like you don't pay attention and then your villager is just gone. Oof. But at least Food Please knows where his opponent is. In terms of scouting for the other players, let's look at Vasall's scouting. Yeah, not too much, and that's why I don't like this house walling over here. Instead of like building the houses in a straight line, he should have just sent out the villager and built some houses sporadically, because once you get town watch, the houses also get a lot more line of sight, so they're very valuable also as scouting information. As for Frediniewicz, he certainly knows or should know that his opponent is somewhere up here. He doesn't know the location of the town center yet, but he should know that his opponent is right over there. So far not much happening in Dark Age other than that. Frediniewicz also going for a rather defensive wall-off, which I don't necessarily like, because that again gives Food Please some more space. I mean, Frediniewicz basically with this wall-off, he is saying, well, Food Please, you can have everything that is beyond this point. And if you look at the map, you don't know where the water is, so that could be like a huge landmass in the east. It's not too much, but still there's some resources here, some gold here, and basically they're giving all of that to Food Please. Who is now also, I'm not sure if he's laming or if he's just taking the resources, but now finally Frediniewicz knows where the town center of his opponent is, and the villager trade overall was 1 for 1. And now look at this, Vasall booming ahead 30 villagers? How did he do that? Very nicely done on him. He just needs to be able to go up to the next age. Frediniewicz, on the other hand, very much behind in terms of villagers, only having 22 villagers, so quite far off. However, he is already on the way to the feudal age. So in this position, might actually be okay to go maybe for some scouts, but I think better or the best way in this instance would be archers, because look at all these exposed villages of Food Please, and you can also sit behind the wood line, and there's just great opportunity to go for archers in this particular instance, especially if you're 2v1, because the archers don't need to deal the finishing blow, they just need to delay Food Please, need to try to keep him out of expanding to other areas on the map, and for that archers could be great. However, Frediniewicz doing the wrong thing. Instead of doing this kind of silly wall-off thing, he should have just dropped a barracks, because he needs the barracks to then drop the archery range, and he should also already go for gold. No matter what strategy he's going for, he should be going for a different resource than just food and wood, which he is doing at the moment. So he just has a lumber camp here, basically, and taking some wood, some food. But what is his plan in the feudal age? Even if he wants to go for fast castle, he will need some gold, and I think that's what he now realizes. So it's kind of a panic mining camp that he's doing here. So not the best decision making here in terms of Frediniewicz, because at this point he could have already had some archers, like 3 archers maybe, and just try to see what's here, maybe go for this gold mine, go for the wood line. Instead he is getting tower rushed, and now dropping an awkward watchtower with these villages over here. So yeah, that's not accomplishing too much, because I don't think it really defends from this watchtower on the one hand, and it also doesn't range a lot of resources over here. It might be able to range the lumber camps, or if there are farms placed later on. But not much doing here, not much happening over here. And look at this giant Chinese wall of De Vasall. Why are you doing this? It doesn't help you in this situation. You know, you should know by now through signaling where Foodplease is. So why wall off here? So Vasall also saying, well, Foodplease, you can basically have all of the map, all of these riches over here. Now finally, this villager of Foodplease, he's done with the shorefish and everything, so he's trying to break out. And eventually he will break out, however, still a lot of idle time on this villager overall. Now some fire galleys coming out from Vasall. No fire galleys by Foodplease, even though as the Italians, it should be kind of a priority, I think, to go for water. But yeah, maybe he's too occupied with walling and all that stuff to really think about that. And Italians, just to get this one right, fishing ships cost 15% less, and also the dock technologies cost less. So that's a pretty good bonus to go for water in this situation. Now Foodplease getting housed heavily. But look at this, he's already up to 35 villages. Fredi is now slowly catching up. He's at 32, and Vasall, surprisingly, he is in the lead in terms of economy, and also puts on a lot of pressure on water. He has 4 fire galleys already out here, and now sending more fire galleys forward. And I think he should not produce more fire galleys than those that he already has. I think that's way more than enough, more than he needs. He should now focus on land. And Fredi, what are you doing? Why are you sending out this villager over here? What is her task other than to die underneath the town center of Foodplease? Or will she go away? Oh no, what? Oh, great micro by Fredi. Not bad. Good move there. And I think Foodplease will try to chase her down, but if she just like runs off into some corner and hides for a bit, I think it will be difficult for Foodplease to find her. And yes, the villager just, stands still. And so maybe this was a genius move, because this villager could now drop some stables in the back of Foodplease's base, and Fredi is on the way to the Castle Age, although a lot slower than Foodplease, and Foodplease also going for bloodlines, so I think Foodplease will go for the stable and knights. And look at this, why are you giving Foodplease so much space? Why are you not fighting this? You're 2v1, you can afford to fight this. You can afford to go for early aggression. In a 2v1 situation, you should always pressure your opponent, because you would expect this. He is better in the late game once his economy is established. But one thing that the team of Fredi and Foodplease are doing that's very good is destroying everything that Foodplease has on water, so no more free fishing eco for him. But now Vasall needs to make sure that he's actually using these fire galleys to patrol around the shoreline and not build any more. And also don't overinvest on fishing ships maybe. So I think the number you have is pretty good, so you just need to redock maybe over here, and that's good enough. And now look at this, Foodplease saying, okay, I'll take your invitation. I'll just wall along here and just take everything on this side of the fence for myself. And now he also has the knights out, and Fredi has nothing. He's not even up to Castle Age. He's now, producing a few spearmen, but a spearman is not enough against the knights, and the first villager will be picked. And as I said, one spearman not enough, especially if your opponent micros as well, which he does, so nicely done. Of course, some hits are have been coming in on the knights, but yeah, look at this, running around with the spearman. Micro Fredi, what are you focusing on? It can't be much, because you don't have much over here. And also, why is this woman not doing anything? Why not drop a stable and raid your opponent? That's too passive, way too passive. Why not attack your opponent earlier? Now those two knights of Foodplease already having them some damage, killing a villager, forcing a reaction, killing Spearman. So good for him. However, Food Please, due to losing his fishing ships, really down in economy, only having 29 villages against the 37 of Fredinovic and 42 of de Vasall. So overall, Food Please should still be in the losing situation over here, even though this game looks a lot better than the last game. And now this is something I don't understand. You don't need to lame here. Laming is not required. This is way too late. I don't think it's necessary, especially since your opponent already has enough stone for a castle. He has stone access. So why not just drop a stable and maybe a siege workshop and just go for kind of a one rush and try to pressure the town center? Because look at this, Food Please has not been pressured at home at all, even though you have 2 players. I don't get why those players don't just go for just some archers or some scouts and try to pressure this. I think 2v1, you cannot never win a 2v1 situation if your opponents just go for some early pressure. And I think that those knights of Vasall are not gonna do a lot here. Yeah, they're just gonna get walled out and shot down by the castle. And now we have a castle war. But overall, Food Please can solidify his position. So that's very good on him. And if he is able to get a group of a couple of Genoese crossbowmen, okay, he needs quite a few, but then he can also easily combat those knights. Problem is, he needs to have enough gold, and that could be a problem over here. Although he is on gold over here, so he doesn't necessarily need the gold over here. But yeah, the Knights of Vasall doing some damage, finding some villager kills there, and now they can run in. And the thing is, even though those players played really suboptimally, so Fredinovic and Vasall, they're playing super scared. They're like, oh, we're scared of Food Please. He's so strong. Even though they made a lot of mistakes, it doesn't look great for Food Please overall. Because there are some knights in the base, he's trickling in the Genoese crossbowmen, so you need a mass of Genoese crossbowmen. One is not enough, and you also need the upgrades. So even though they made a lot of mistakes, still Food Please is firmly on the back foot here, and I don't really see how he is going to win this one, especially with a weak economy. So now he's up to 38 villages, so that's good on him. He might be able to drop a town center soon over here. But yeah, it doesn't look great for him. However, look at this. Why are those players sacrificing all of this space to Food Please? Why are they not saying, well, you cannot have the space because we have some archers here, or we have a tower here, or we're patrolling with knights over here. They're just saying, well, yeah, do whatever you want with this. We're gonna lame at the 30 minutes mark, we're gonna lame the resources, which is not gonna be very effective. What's more effective is what's happening over here. Just getting in with the knights, just attacking the villagers with the knights, and I think that's gonna be GG soon for Food Please. But yeah, I think I would love to see a little bit more confidence by Vasall and Fredinovic. They have the tools, they have the ability. Well, they're maybe not able to do the or execute in the same way as Food Please, but they're 2v1 and they can just go a little bit more aggressive. And yeah, Food Please is calling the GG. He doesn't see any way out, and looks like a really solid performance by Vasall and Fredinovic overall, even though, as I said, a lot of weaknesses in their game. The scared walling over here, which was then ineffective because the Knights of Food Please still came in, still a castle drop over here. The town center Fredinovic has been shut down. So not really effective in this wall-off that they did. I think the really game-winning move here was that Vasall actually pressured the water in a sufficient way to kill all the fishing ships of Food Please, and then he didn't have any economy left. But otherwise, yeah, I think those players could do a little bit more. And we can look at the timeline real quickly. I don't think it makes much sense to go to these individual stats. But yeah, it's pretty even. And then only Vasall is able to boom here or grow in population because of his fire galleys. But look at this, Fredinovic, he's refusing, so he had a 22 population uptime, so he should be a little bit faster than the other ones, and then he should just use this advantage to make some military and pressure Food Please, and then this game could have been over a little bit sooner. However, still, 2v1 challenge has not been accomplished yet, and so I'm curious to see if maybe in the third game we will see a surprise and Food Please will be able to win there. So I hope to see you in the next game. My name is Peter Roast, and see you soon.